Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I have for you today a modern deck tech. This is my favorite modern deck. I've been playing it online for several months, and I got it tweaked for modern today post bans. After the banning of Bloodbraid Elf and Seething Song, I had to change up the sideboard a little bit, but I just recently got all the trades together to get this deck completely put together. So I hope you enjoy. This deck is Red-Green Tron. It is extremely effective. First, we have 4 chromatic spheres. You just put down for 1 to activate it, sack it, draw a card, and add a mana. So that's color fixing and draw. Same with Chromatic Star. It's the exact same card with a different name. Next, Expedition Map can be put down turn 1, activated turn 2 ideally to get you your 3rd piece of Tron. It searches a land out of your library. Next, Relic of Progenitus, and don't mind the camera by the way, it just autofocuses a ton. 3 Relic of Progenitus. This main board can be very useful, as we see a lot of Snapcasters and things bring the things back from the graveyard. Reanimator is getting to be a big deck in Modern 2, and this stops Goryo's Vengeance from happening. So, and it draws your card when it's exiled. Next, 4 Wormcoil Engines. We're going to be producing mana very fast, and a lot of it with this deck. So, and it's all colorless mana for the most part. So Wormcoil Engine, 6/6 for 6. Mana cost is almost irrelevant in this deck. But 6/6 Death Touch Lifelink, turn 3 can wreck some people pretty fast. Next, just acquired my last one tonight actually. 4 Karn Liberated. I can get him down turn 3 as well. In the mirror match, what I want to do is put him down turn 3 ideally, and immediately use his -3 to exile one of their Tron pieces. That way they can't get it. In a mirror match, it's all about who gets Karn out first. It's huge. And against all other decks, I mean, I can make them discard a card every turn. I can exile their permanents. If they're mana screwed, if they have 1 color of mana that they only have 1 of, take that away from them. It's just super powerful. 3, All Is Dust. All Is Dust is important against everything. The only thing this isn't good for is against the mirror match again, but we have sideboard for that. So this is 7 cost, so I can put it out as early as turn 3, and it says each player sacrifices all colored permanents he or she controls. So if it makes them sacrifice their permanents, it gets past indestructible, it gets past hexproof, it gets past everything pretty much. Very awesome. 1 Ulamog, because he is tutorable in this deck. All colorless creatures can be tutorable through Eye of Ugin. And when he comes into play, destroy permanent, Annihilator 4. You guys know Ulamog, he's great. And Emrakul. I actually can ramp up enough mana fairly fast to play Emrakul. If I get him out, it's usually game over. Ancient Stirrings. We have 4 of these in the deck. For 1 green, so turn 1 or whenever you have Ancient Stirrings in your hand, because it's always good. You look through the top 5 of your library and put a colorless card from amongst those into your hand. This can tutor up your lands. You can get your 3rd piece of Tron. You get your 2nd piece of Tron from this, any pieces of it. You can get your Wormcoil Engines, your Eldrazi, whatever you need. Other lands too, color fixing. Sylvan Scrying. 1 green, 1 other. Searches a land out of your library and puts it in your hand. Pretty basic. 4 Pyroclasm. This is anti-aggro. This is anti-anything with small creatures. Even versus control decks, this can be very good, because I can get rid of their Snapcasters. I get rid of their Aven Mind Sensor. I found a big one. against a control deck. This gets rid of Aven Mind Sensor, and that's a huge deal when you need to tutor up your lands. Right, next here we have what gives Tron its name, 4 Urza's Towers. And for those of you who don't know what Tron is, I should have explained it earlier, but Tron is Urza Tron. If you have Urza's Tower, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Mine in play at the same time, usually they only tap for 1 mana each, but if you have them all in play at the same time, Mine taps for 2, Power Plant taps for 2, and Tower taps for 3. So turn 3, if we get these down, just 1, 2, 3, which is not that hard in this deck. It's actually pretty easy. If we get them down, if we have all 3 down turn 3, that gives us 7 mana. We can cast Karn, Wormcoil Engine, All Is Dust, tons of stuff. We can wreck our opponent. So 4 Urza's Tower, 4 Power Plants, and 4 Mines. Urza's Mine. We have 4 Grove of the Burn Willows because we do, as you saw, play some color. And we can't really afford to be losing life, so instead of a pain land, we put Grove of the Burn Willows in here. Our deck is kind of a slow build sometimes, and against aggro, we really need to prevent any loss of life. Don't lose any more life than absolutely necessary. And when they gain life off of this, it doesn't really matter because you're hitting with Emrakul, you're hitting with Ulamog, so that's irrelevant. Eye of Ugin. This makes your Eldrazi spells cost 2 less to play. So you can play All Is Dust for 5, you can play Emrakul for 13, and you can play Ulamog for 9. Very nice. And finally, just a couple basic lands for us, because of the colored spells in this deck, most of them are green, and you need the green mana all the time. So that is, actually, sideboard. I explain my sideboard here. We have 3 Ancient Grudge in the sideboard, just versus, general artifacts. Need Artifact Hate. Extra sleeves. Actually, one of those will be a Fire Spout. Kind of forgot to stick it in. Fire Spout. There we go. 3 Ancient Grudge for Artifact Hate. Fire Spout. It's just 1 more Pyroclasm pretty much for aggro decks. 3 Oblivion Stone. This mostly comes in during the mirror match. Now you take out the All Is Dust and put in Oblivion Stones, because All Is Dust obviously against another one of these decks doesn't do anything, because it only makes your opponent sacrifice their colored permanents. But this will get rid of everything. So 1 more Relic of Progenitus. This is against decks that run lots of Graveyard Recursion. Against Reanimator, I'll put in this. Against Snapcaster, I'll put in this, so I'll just have it out ready to go. Pithing Needle. I run 3 Pithing Needles in the sideboard. This is a meta choice, because out there in Modern right now, there's a lot of Kiki Pod going on, and you can, ideally you want to see at least 1 of these in your opening hand. So you can put it down, name Kiki Jiki. If you see another one, put it down, name, Birthing Pod. If you sideboard this against Control, I see a lot of red, white, blue, and X, controlled X. You want to put this down and name their manland, their Celestial Colonnade, so they can't activate it and beat you to death. That's what I do a lot of the time anyway. I run 2 Ground Seals. Again, this is mostly versus Reanimator. If they do a lot of Snapcaster shenanigans, I will also put these in. And finally, 2 Naturalizes. Naturalize is just versus enchantments, pretty much. I have Artifact Hate already in Ancient Grudge, but I need the enchantment hate. because I have been I have lost games because of enchantments. But I found once I put those 2 naturalizes in, I stopped losing those games. Because as long as I have one of those in my hand, they can't shut down my stuff with enchantments. Alright, so that should be it. That is the whole deck. If you have any questions, comments, put them down in the comments below. Please subscribe, rate the video. You know this. You know the drill. Thank you, and have a nice night.